Hey, good evening, everybody. Again, it is DP with Alpha Traders. We are here again. What a week! Stunning week. It's one of those weeks in your trading year where you're like, oh my God, I literally can ape long most everything. There was so much buying power. There were so many algos that turned on to buy. What a week! It was unbelievable. I put a lot of plays out there. We gave some freebies out to everybody who's not a member. It was absolutely great. If you guys like to check us out, alphatraders.com. Want to see more? Put your email in there. Get your 3 free day trial if you want to do the full time. Our SMS system right here. All you got to do is hit this little button right there, and it takes you to the Trade Labs. That's our processing group. And boom, you hit next, you connect your account, and you roll. Beautiful. By the way, the SMS feature has been absolutely. I don't know why I didn't put this out sooner. There's so many people that have signed up that are absolutely like they just are putting in our DMs and Twitter and texting back and sending stuff, and it's just unbelievable the amount of people that have really succeeded so far in this, and we plan on keeping that up. And again, just our scalping system is something where we're not trying to hold it forever. So you have to have a cash account or a margin account over 25,000. I totally recommend cash accounts. It's the best. It's some of the best risk management that you can have as well. Margin accounts can get kind of you can kind of ape and then ape and then ape, and then you get cut and you lose all those gains if you're not disciplined enough. So I really like cash accounts. I think those are really good to have. So really what it is, we send a text to you, we send an entry and an exit. It's so easy. Literally, you could be working, you could be an electrician, a teacher, a garbage man, anything really, where you can't be in, you could be in your office and you're not allowed to, look on the stocks and keep your eye on all the movements. And it's such a great system that you're able to just easily sit back and go, okay, well, I can enter this, and then I can exit here if I choose to. And there's short-term plays. We're usually going for about 100 to 200%. That's usually our goal. Sometimes we'll get 300, 400, 500%. Those are, if we see the trend and we think it's going well. I like to book profits on my scalps. When lottos are especially, some people like to hold them and hold them and hold them, which is fine. I think that's a great way to do options, is expect nothing and buy to your limit. Don't overdo it. But the SMS is so good. I mean, literally, we can do a 10% play on SPY, and then the very next minute we have 120% on Snow or Tesla or something like that. So I love the system. So check us out, alphatraders.com, or on our Twitter page at Alpha Traders Inc. And you guys can see it right here and right here. Okay, let's get to this. So, top plays for the week. Monster week last week with our top plays. They absolutely ran. I think every single one did except one. I think we were 8 of 9. So just a monster week. Huge buying on Friday on SPY into the last 30 minutes. It was unbelievable to see this amount of volume. I actually put some shorts on right here. Very, very small. It was maybe $400 worth. It was just very small. But I was expecting here right on this trend line for it to get rejected and come back, which that's normal movement, and it just blasted through this big megaphone trend line that it has, and now it's settling above. So for tomorrow, I'm expecting it to dip back to the trend line, probably around 410.50, 410, maybe 40, 35, just to test this. If it flipped SR and is now support, we'll see. If it does think so, it should bounce back to all-time highs and probably above it. And we probably run to, I would probably say 414, somewhere in there. This week before we come back to Earth, and we probably come back down to this, probably 410 first stop, and then probably this 408.27, and then back up again. So we'll see how it all works out. You never know exactly how it works out, but you can have an idea. 65-minute chart looks great again. Everything's curled under. It touched the 8-day, or 8-day on the 65 is way different than the 8-day on the daily. So, but you see, it was a spot of, where there's a lot of volume into the last 65 minutes, and they decided to take it up. This right here was your cue. Once it broke 409.99, or we can call it 410. Once it broke 410, that was your cue to really go long. Some people, we had the 410s from a couple days before. I'm sorry, on Thursday, and they were pretty much worthless, and then we got 100% out of them. So in the last hour, it was really nice. But if you had bought somewhere in here on this break of 409.94, if you had bought the 410s or the 411s, you made amazing money. Amazing money. So next, let's go to the Qs. As we always do, we do the three main ETF indexes. Q's sitting right at all-time highs, just closed just below 338.19. Probably right around 80-90 cents under it. Expecting a pullback off this, really extended from the 8-day on the daily. It is a nice active sequence. We bought it down here. I think we bought it right here. Yeah, we bought it on this near the bottom, like 312. 310 somewhere in there. We bought the 315 calls and it went to 320. I think we sold it somewhere in that area for 80% whatnot on these lottos. So nice run up, beautiful. I mean, in this types of sequence, for me, I don't like playing ETFs. Once I saw or the indexes at least, once I saw this happen, once I saw this break happen above, and then it gapped up the next day, to me that says you need to play individual names. You're going to get more return out of the individual names. When it's choppy like this and the market was going down, it's easier to play the indexes to short because you have better supports and whatnot. So for this week, expecting a call right down to 335.27 tomorrow. I would love to see this in the morning. I would love to see it in the morning and then see it just drop in the first 10 minutes. Maybe even test 332. Watch it not break, and then boom, tech comes right back. And again, that's on the daily. So we go to the 65-minute chart. We're looking at the same thing again. This anchored VWAP from the lowest low is interesting. That's where they automatically put it at. Very interesting on the 65-minute. I would have thought it'd be down here, and again, we can move it down there, but just for the sake of saving time here, this is a big point right here. You're looking at 335.41. Like I said, if that breaks first thing in the morning or it opens below, your next state is probably 333. But really, I think this 332 area is really on the daily. This 332.95 is probably a good place to go. Maybe down to 332. Just depends on what time frame you're playing. I'm just showing you both. RUT, or well, IWM, I should say. I shouldn't say RUT. RUT's the futures. But really just consolidating. I mean, it ran so hard. It carried the market really for a good 2 or 3 months. RUT did. I mean, it pretty much carried it along with financials and energy. So this is huge in the sense that it's a massive run up, and now it's creating this channel. If you look at like Netflix or Amazon, they have these huge channels. This is the same thing now with IWM. You really want to buy this, but you see the head and shoulders pattern that popped up here, and now it's kind of it played out, and now it's bounced off that with the market. So I don't think there's a play here yet. It really needs to break 226.29 to get me, thinking about longing it. I think it's just a lot of chop because tech is leading. So I don't even look at the 65. First play is at Baba. They finally had that antitrust thing done. That's what was really holding it down. The market doesn't like uncertainty. Market doesn't like fear, and when you have both of those in Alibaba, you didn't know what was going to go on. You don't buy this stuff. You accumulate it if you're a long-term holder. You start buying the dips, see it go down. But now it's a textbook double bottom into that close on Friday. You see this indecision candle here. I think it's already up $5 in the Chinese session now that they have the settlement. So I'm actually looking for this thing to explode this week. I'll be looking for a position unless it's like already gone. If it's already 236 by the time the morning comes, there's not much you can do. But I would love to see it's under 226, gets over 226. That's the 8-day. I like it to 229. I'd probably go with the 230 lottos on this one because honestly, it could really go to 232. And if it really, there's a lot of buyers because Bob is a great company. I mean, look at this. Look where it was before all this garbage. You're talking at 319. So this thing has some room to move. Swings would be great on this. I might open a swing tomorrow. Just to, give it a 4 to 6 week window. Maybe go into the 250 calls for May OPEX. Maybe into June. Not sure yet, but I think 250 is a good number. Maybe 235 is looking at this. You're looking at the 50-day up here and the 200-day. I mean, if it gets through the 200-day here, that's a monster buy. It's going to go back to all-time highs at that point. It's 247. So, just looking at it, probably do the 240s. Probably do the 240s. Let's see what the flow was on BABA here. A lot of bearish going into this. These guys are going to get run over. It was interesting too, unless these are sold puts. I can't tell just looking at this. I'd have to go back and look, but a lot of open interest on those 225 puts. This could have been a sold put where they, instead of just buying it, it doesn't tell you if they sold it or bought it. But interesting, this one's going to be rolling. That's a big one. That's a sweep. And these are big boys buying these puts in very small packages. So it makes me think that they thought it was going to go down further. They're going to get run over tomorrow. This is a great one here. April 30th, 240. Wow, April 30th, 240 calls for 204. And anything else of note? Yeah, the day before Thursday, they might already cash those in. So, yeah, interesting on that front. But again, I like BABA a lot. It's one of my #1 pick this week. I will be looking at, like I said, probably the 230 lottos, personally. Tesla, you are back on my radar. So a lot of people, you have bears, you have people thinking it's going to go to 600 and it's like 550 and it's garbage because the trend is back. This trend is already starting to break back up. Super key numbers. Tesla's one of the easiest things to read right now. Our members are currently in the 725s and the 750s for next week. We bought them earlier in the week. The 750 might be a stretch, but it's Tesla. So if we see through 707, 710 will give you a little bit of a psych, 710, 711, somewhere in there. But if it busts through 710, 711, it's going back to 780. Like you're looking at 780. Where's that gap fill? This gap fill right here. Yeah, you're looking about 780 on that gap fill. So if that happens, then these 750s are going to be 250%, and those 725s are probably going to be 500%. So I don't know if it happens this week. It's going to start going into earnings, so I would expect a run up. But indecision candle here, this to me looks like a descending wedge about to break out. I would expect this on the pullback tomorrow. Touch that 8-day at 671. I'm a buyer here because it's a great risk reward for going long, in my opinion, on the daily. If you do buy it at the 821 day, it was 671, 672, somewhere in there. 670, but anywhere in that little range right there. Go with the 700s. I'm going to go into the 700 lottos if that happens tomorrow. If we get lucky enough and that happens, because if it falls and breaks, say it drops to 668, 665, they're probably down 20-30%. Those 700s, and you cut them because obviously it's not respecting it because it's going to go to 657. So if that does happen, I'll flip some puts. I might keep the 700s because I still have time on Monday, and we'll do some puts. We'll scalp that. We'll get 30, 40, 50%, something like that. And then we see here, maybe we buy the 680s out of that. So there's a lot of different ways to play it. Just because you go long doesn't mean you can't come back short. I think that's where a lot of options traders have trouble is they're like, okay, well, I just longed Tesla to 700. Okay, let's go. And they're like, okay, every dollar it goes up. Every dollar it goes up. Oh, it just went up 3. Oh, it went down 10. But it went up 4. It went down 6. Like, I think sometimes you get caught up in that, and once you know your levels here, I mean, it's pretty defined. 670 is, I don't think it gets under 670. So personally, I'm sitting here going, if it stays above 670, especially at the open, if it falls to 667, 668 at the open, it is a monster buy. I'm going to go right into the 700s, and I'm pretty sure that those will be pretty good going into the week. Now, nothing's certain, nothing's guaranteed, obviously. So 65-minute, again, this is not a hard chart to read. Like this is not, if you're a chart reader, like the options premium has been telling me for 2 weeks that it wants to go, but for some reason it has not. It's been pulling back every time on the 700, meaning that some big players are seeing the 700 side and they're like, we're not going to let it break over. We still need to accumulate shares before it runs another 80, 90 bucks. That's what it says to me. On the 65 minute, this is a big number, 682.70. You get over this, 682.70, that's the 200 on the 65. That's telling me it's got some juice. I wouldn't even worry about this anchored VWAP. Because, I mean, you could call it 685. Sure, do whatever you want there. We'll call it, if you want to be really safe, breaks above and closes an hour candle above 685.47. You're gone. You're getting a 696 in my opinion. I think it's a great trade. It's got to work its way through here a little bit, but like I said, I'd love this dip to the anchored VWAP at 669 on the 65 minute. You know, what is that? It's exactly, or is this the 100 day? I apologize. Gets to the 100 day, 669.83 on the 65 minute chart. I think this is a monster buy. I think it's a good bounce. Heck, if you really want to be safer, you can buy the 680. So when it bounces back to 677, and if it gets rejected, you made $7, and you can probably trade that for 40%. Get yourself a nice scalp. It's going to be a little more pricey. It's probably going to be $10, $12, whereas the 700 is probably going to be around $550. So manage your account. Next up, TTD, super interesting. TTD had such a massive run up with the Google ads, and there was rumors of Apple ads, and they were going to go through TTD, and that fell through, and then there was some other. Like TTD is a really good company, but it's all about the advertisement revenue. It's all about it. So again, this is on the daily. This is a double bottom here, textbook double bottom. Broke through the 200 day. That's your bounce. That's your go. Hard 700. 702 is hard. We're going to call it 702 because it got rejected locally. Anything through 707 here, give it a few dollars off that 702, is a screaming buy to me. I think you get 15 points easy to 722. I think that's a nice lotto. And if there's a lot of volume and this thing really wants to go, break 731, off to the races. You're going to see 800 again. Not this week. But you'll see TTD get to about 750 this week, and then it probably gets to 800 next week. So super interesting play. I'm going to have Tesla and TTD and BABA lined up at the open personally, unless something happens. Again, anything can happen. Just make sure we say that. Like anything can happen, but you got to think from all angles. And what am I? If I go in tomorrow with a plan, how does it work? But again, if you're looking on the 65 minute, if you're a little bit, if you're not a daily options trader and you're more of a short term, like our SMS entries, this is what I'm looking at. Like I will send this play to our SMS group if it happens. See that? Clear that a little bit. But this 702, it's a great entry. 65 minute close above 700, or you can call it 702, whichever you want. It's a good risk reward. And good thing about tomorrow, like you're in this wedge. If it comes back to the 8 day at 687 in the morning, I think that's a nice buy. You buy the 700s, and you can play it then to 702/700. And if it gets rejected, if it starts to see that the premium starts to decline on it as it hits 700, you sell it. You get, what is that? You get 70%, 80%. You play. You're happy you got it. It gets rejected. Now if it takes it over again, boom, you buy the 720, 725s, gets to 715. You just made another 70, 80%. So you see how that works. You really got know your levels here. So TTD will be on my screen, and I'll have my numbers written down. I'll have my alerts set. I'll do that right after the video's done. Manage your account. Be prepared. Shopify, Amazon Shop were the big winners this past week. I chose to play more Shop than I did Amazon, which is, whatever, pick your poison. I mean, Amazon was amazing, and I wish I had a position in it and I cut it. It was down 50%, and I didn't think it was going to come back because the premium was just getting drained out of it. So that, you had that. But my eyes are on Shop. I'll have it on screen 4. Screen 1 will be BABA, screen 2 will be Tesla, screen 3 will be TTD, and screen 4 will be Shop. I like to keep it between 4 and 5. That's why I say the top 5. I'll have the 5th one also lined up. We'll decide. There's kind of always a wild card because things pop overnight and things happen overnight in the other markets. So super easy on Shop here to read. If it drops back down to 1200, that's a monster buy. Don't you dare not buy this. In my opinion, I'm saying it to myself. I think it's a monster buy. I'm going to buy this 1200, 1190 if it happens again. Don't think it does this week. I think 1224 is about all you're getting. You might get 1220. If you get 1220, but it holds, then you'll want to do the 1250s for this week. They'll be expensive. The premium will be popping so much after this move here. That was the big money move. We caught a lot of this. That was the big money move, but it still has a lot of move in it. I think it can get 1300 this week. So I mean, what is really expensive? If it's $15 to buy the 1250s, or you can buy the 1300s for $6, that's up to you where you want to go with it. It's a matter of your account. But 1220 is the buy. Just needs to get through 1235 on the daily. 65-minute, same thing. You're building a bull flag here. You want to buy it towards the bottom. That's 1224. Even if it comes down to this level here, 1220. 1220 is a great buy. And again, if you want to just be safe, buy the 1235s. They're going to be super expensive, but I think they'll probably be around $2,000 a piece, maybe $2,500 a piece, somewhere in there. But if you got the cash and you got the flow, it's a safe bet. You're here. You know that the market's doing really well. You're probably going to get a lot of buy pressure off shop here. 1235, that's nothing. I mean, you get from 1220 to 1235, that's 100%. Not bad. I'll take $2,500 on each contract. But you got to know that you're going to make a lot more money if you use the same amount of capital and you go with the 1250s or the 1300s and it breaks through this. You're going to get the IV boost, and you're also going to start getting the way out of the monies into the money. So just something to keep an eye on. Bonus time. PayPal. I messed PayPal up personally. I bought it at $259, $260, and it dipped. I bought it somewhere around here, and it dipped down, and I sold it. I'm like, I'm not dealing with it. And then what it did, it ran, and those calls would have been 150%. So what does that tell you? Super easy. Otherwise, 266.94 breaks over that high. You're going to run again. If it pulls back, you're looking at 257. We'll call it 258 on the daily. If you're going and holding multi-days or doing bi-weeklies or swings, I wouldn't recommend opening a 4 to 6 week swing here. Just not. I don't think that's the right play. Your swing was when I was screaming at you on Twitter. I'm going to go on the daily here now because it's been a few days. Here, when I was screaming at everybody to buy stuff, I was screaming. If you guys go back to the Twitter, I was screaming at you all to buy stuff here and here. I told you to buy. So that was your swing entry. So now you get, if you like PayPal, I like PayPal. You really just wait for 266.94 to break. Once it breaks, it should see 270 easy, maybe 272. Super easy to read. Good easy levels. You can sit there and just set some alerts and watch it go off. Snow. We made about 40% on Friday. I saw it bottomed, and we just bought some 225s real quick, and it popped to 226. Made like 40%. It was great. I love those trades, especially on Lotto Friday. Quick in, quick out. Another easy. A lot of these tech charts are just easy to read. This is your monster move. Over 244 triggers a monster breakout. You long your longs here at 244. I'll be going into the 250s, probably the 250s. If it does break this on the daily close, I'll go in the 250s quick because those will be a quick 100%. I'll probably hold them and let them stay in the money until we get to 270, 275. Otherwise, 226. It's kind of a inverted head and shoulders is what's building here. So if it opens lower, let's just say it opens near 223, I think that's a great buy. You buy the 230s. What do you got to do? You just got to get back to the 8-day. That's nothing in a tech market boom. When all tech is running and this has a lot of backing on it, I think this is just a monster buy. Over here back at, I'd buy it at 224. And if it fails, you just cut it. If it gets under 223.73, you cut it. You sit and you say, okay, well, I lost 30%. That's just the name of the game. You lose it, you cut it, you save your stuff, and then you wait for it to reclaim that level, and then you hit it again. Because maybe it goes under tomorrow and does a relative strength reversal and goes. You never know. Running out of time here, so we're Riot. Very simple, very simple. It's consolidating, but with Bitcoin and all crypto running over the weekend, expect this to get up, up, up. This is a buy if it defends 47.71 again on the daily. You can also buy it against 49.26, see if it holds. Really, at the end of the day, it gets over 52. That's a monster buy to 57. Super easy. Amazon, last one. Monster, monster, monster move. Little bit harder in terms of what it is. It needs over, 33.92. You get over 33.92, this thing's going to go back to 3,500 this week. I just said it, this week. I expect it to pull back to 33.24 in the morning tomorrow, maybe even 3,300. And people go, oh no, is it over? Is it over? It drops to 3,300. Oh no, is it over? Is it over? And it goes right here, and then you zoop. So if it gets to 3,300, I will buy. I don't know, probably the 30. I'll be looking at the 3,400s because you think you get 70 points back to this high here. You get 70 points. That's probably right, because I think what happens with Amazon, it gets here and then it goes here, and it hits it again, and it goes here and it hits it again, and it goes here and it gets it, and then 2 weeks from now you're gonna go, zoom, as it gets into earnings, they're gonna go just rock that thing up to 3,500. Which is all-time high. So that's it for this week. Sorry, ran a little long, had a lot to say, gave you guys some really good levels. I hope you guys profit off this. These are just plays that I'm looking at, that I'm sharing with you, that I think are great. Otherwise, good luck this week. Hit us up, alphatraders.com, at AlphaTraders Inc. Sign up for our scalp service. Sign up for our full-time. You will not be disappointed. Have a great trading week.